In this movie, we're going to talk about how to use different techniques to round numbers. Now, you may be thinking, why would you want to round numbers? I have an example here of dice. Let's say you wanted to get a number from 1 to 6. You have to use a particular rounding technique to get that particular range. If you'd like to follow along, we're in the Rounding.fla in the Chapter 7 Exercise Files folder. On the stage, we have an instance of dice and a button called random with an instance name of random_MC. In our actions, the random MC has an event listener to listen for a mouse click and the skeleton of an event handler. So let's test the movie. See the die roll. And so for right now, the random button doesn't do anything. Let's close this. And for now, let's just click on that die on the stage and delete it. We'll bring it out when we have a solution to how we can get a number between 1 and 6. So let's click on the first keyframe of the Actions layer and open up the Actions panel. And then inside of the onClick event handler, I will type trace, open parenthesis, math.random, open and close parenthesis, space, asterisk, space, 6, close parenthesis, semicolon. And this will give us a number between 0 and not including 6, and it will have decimals. So let's just test the movie to verify that. Click the random button. Keep on clicking it. Okay, so 0 isn't popping up in there. One way we can do this is add 1 onto the result. So if it's going to give us a number between 0 and 5, we can add 1. But we also want a whole number, because what we're going to do is tell the die to go to and stop on the frame that corresponds with the number on the die. So we cannot tell it go to and stop on frame 5.319457. That just won't work. So let's close the output window. Close the Swift file. Let's go back into our code. The first technique of rounding is called math.round. And that will either round the number up or down. Let's say you're working with 4.4. We'll round it down to 4. 4.6 will be rounded up to 5. Right after the trace statement inside of my event handler, after the open parenthesis, I'm going to type math with a capital M, dot round, open parenthesis, and then put the close parenthesis after the 6 and before the close parenthesis of this trace statement. Let's test the movie. Click the random button. We got a 4. Great. We can now have whole numbers. I'm going to move the output window so I can click the random button and see the results. Click it a few times. Oh, there's a 0. We're getting a 6 though. That 0 is not going to work to roll dice. We need to have a range between 1 and 6. So math.round will round a number up or down. The next technique to round numbers is called math.floor. So let's replace the word round with floor. An easy way to remember what math.floor does is to think of the floor. Math.floor always rounds down to the floor. Let's test the movie and look at the result. I got a 0 and I got a 5. Let's see if I get a 6. I don't get a 6. So that will always round down to the floor and give us a number between 0 and 5. So it looks like we'll need a technique that always rounds up. That should give us 1 to 6. And what's the opposite of floor? Ceiling. So we're going to use math.ceiling to round up. Except for in Flash, they abbreviate it, and it's just called math.ceil. So let's select the word floor, change it to ceil, C-E-I-L. Now test the movie. Click the random button. Move the output window if you need to. Let's see if we get any zeros. Oh, we got a 6, we got a 1. No zeros. It looks like we found a winner. So let's close the Actions panel, go to our library, click on the Dice layer, drag an instance of Dice onto the stage. Let's give it an instance name of die1_MC. And we'll click on the first keyframe of the Actions layer and open up the Actions panel. And all we have to do is take the trace statement, so just select the word trace, and we'll replace that with die1_MC dot go to and with the capital A, stop with the capital S. And we don't need to put any open and close parentheses because we're going to use the ones from the trace statement. The way that the die file is set up is on the first frame it has a 1 on the die, and the second frame it has a 2, and so on to 6. When we test the movie, we'll get a random number on the die. Click Random, and we get random die numbers. Let's say you wanted to roll 2 at the same time. Close out the Actions panel, drag an instance of Dice onto the stage, make sure that you're on the Dice layer, give your die an instance name, die2_MC. Go back to your Actions panel, the first keyframe of your Actions layer, copy the line of code where we select the random number for die 1. It's on line 5. Press Command or Control C on your keyboard to copy it. Go to the next line, paste the code, change die 1 to die 2. So we'll get a random number for die 1, and we'll get a different random number for die 2. Because we're using math.cl, the number will always round up and give us 1 to 6. Test the movie. Click Random. 2 6s. Nice. Hey. There we go. That was amazing. So you can keep on clicking the random button and see your random numbers. Let's close this out. So that's how to use the different techniques of rounding numbers. And just remember that round will round up or down, floor will round down to the floor, CL will round up to the ceiling.